Taking its time. I think we're connected. It looks like there's some issues. Connectivity issues? Gosh, I hope not. Going live, waiting for the connection, yeah. Here I am. Hi, Elaine Marilacos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. And yeah, it is an eclipse, so there might be some issues with connection. We hope not, right? So come and join me today. We're going to be talking about the lunar eclipse in Gemini, and that is at 8 degrees, 38 minutes. If you know your chart, you know where it's landing. And we'd like to have better connectivity. So I'm going to wave my Harry Potter wand. Connect! Oh, the light changed when I did that. So come join me. Listen, if you don't know who I am and you don't know what I say, that the planets don't do anything to you in astrology, that we live in a cooperation, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles. Basically, astrology tells you what time it is. Do you understand? Yeah. Okay, so we're just going to be talking about contradictions and extremes, because that's what the Gemini eclipse is bringing up. Now, I have a new mouse, and if I don't use it, the battery just goes to sleep. Or the unit goes to sleep. It's very annoying, but I'll work with it. Good morning, top of the morning. You hear and see me. Excellent. Okay, so all my filters changed again. I don't know what that's about, so I look really white. Like pale white. Anyway. Okay. We're here. We're doing it. I pulled some cards already. I've meditated for over an hour. I am so ready to be here. Are you? Let's talk about contradictions. I'm calling in all aspects of awareness. So past, present, future, starseed, light, energy, angels. There's a lot of swirl going on in my room right now. So we're going to be talking about extremes and how to move through your contradictions. So first, let me just lay a little foundation about energy, and that is you have the ability to move any energy, not for other people so much, but unless you're a master. It's such a masculine term, but unless you have, done the work, you're moving it for yourself. And that's the thing, right? That's the whole point of why you're here. You're here to be joyful. You're here on this earth, not just here on Facebook. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching this in a replay, then you might catch me on YouTube. Eventually, I'm going to be going to an application where I can stream to both places at the same time, but not yet. I have to get used to a new astrology program, because the one I've been using for 30 years, the guy retired and sold it, and now, yeah. So it looks different, it feels different. You know, when you have like a mini tantrum over that, you're like, no, this is what I know. Well, now I got to know something else. So we're going to be talking about this lunar eclipse in Gemini. We're in it now. We've been in it for weeks, and it happened technically 4:44 Eastern time, AM. So do the math for your location, but we're in it. We're in it for months. We're in it for a year, because there's going to be more Gemini, Sagittarius eclipses in 2021. We shifted out of the Cancer, Capricorn eclipses. Now we're moving towards something completely different. And now something completely different. So when we look at what we're doing, how we're feeling, we want to look at the contradictions. So first we start with what we don't want, right? And so here's the foundation for the whole deal. Say ding-a-ling, whatever that is. here's the foundation for the whole deal, and that is you are pure conscious love. You are an extension of the light. You exist here, now, everywhere. That's the deal. There's anything else you add to it or subtract from it doesn't last. It creates confusion or a momentary gratification, but it doesn't last. You are pure conscious love. You exist here, now, everywhere. That's who you are. That's the deal. And why did you come to this earth? Well, yes, you've come here for so many reasons. To heal something, to express something, to experience something, many somethings. So it's all of that. You know, people say to me, well, what's my karma? It's like, well, everything is karmic. Everything is karmic. It's not just, you know, you murdered someone in Pakistan in the year 2, and now you have to pay extra taxes and have your house robbed because of it. You know, if you think it is, then it is. That's basically the bottom line. Okay, so that's it. We're done. If you think it is, it is. Now, people will say, oh, this, and I will have conversations with all kinds of folks. Religious, non-religious, spiritual, non-spiritual, skeptical. Yes, be skeptical. Ask questions. Learn. You know, be open. Skepticism doesn't mean cynicism, right? There's a huge difference in those two things. So I keep seeing red in my output, so I don't know if I'm lagging or if I'm like, I should do it like a Godzilla thing. No, look out, you know. The kaiju. Am I in the drift? I hope so. I hope so. So, hey, Elizabeth, Casey, lovely to see you. Come join us. Say hello. We're talking about extremes. Come bring me you're tired, you're poor, you're weak, I've had it. And let's get into the eclipse energy. We're here. Might as well. I'm feeling very enthusiastic. You know, I had 3 days ago, I had my energy dip and, you know, pivot and plummet. And looking at what it meant for me and what I'm letting go of and what I'm embracing in its stead. And that's the thing that's where you want to go, is what's the problem? Like, what? A tad bit staccato, not too bad. All right, thank you. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm happy we have any power at all. With eclipses, there tends to be sometimes technological hinkiness, or the weather goes strange, you know, a sudden hailstorm somewhere, or the temperature drops 20 degrees, like here, you know, it was 70 degrees a week ago, and now it's 48. So it does odd things, right? Eclipses do. So when we talk about what we want in life or what we're doing here, some people are okay biding their time. That's okay. Wherever you are, that's where you are. But if you're not happy where you are, that's where people like me come in to point out irregularities. And those irregularities not only create constipation of energy, but they, you know, they seem harder to get through. It's like, oh, not another thing. It's like, what now? And so you get tired. So the first thing first place you really want to go is your biology. Your biology, you know, is going to support the physicality of you. And that promotes the next version of you. That's the mood. You know, food is mood. So if you're wanting to, let's say, and so we're looking at contradictions. So if you're, and this is not, there's no judgment on any of this information. But if you're wanting something and you're working towards something, then what happens in a lunar eclipse is you let go of that something, which is a happy thing. So it's not a negative to be in eclipse energy, just like being in any retrograde is not a negative. It's just an indication. It's a barometer. It's a checkpoint. It's a reality check on who you are becoming, how you're doing it. and how it feels in the process, because that is the wave. And if you're not happy with what's happening, then we look to incorporate something different. There are no real negatives in energy manifestation. I've learned that in the past several years in big ways. So when you say, yeah, trying to make more money and I can't get there, I must be doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just you may be out of sync with body, mind, spirit connection. That's all we're looking at is what's the contradiction. Some part of you is doing one thing, the other part is saying or doing another. And that creates like a wash in energy. So then you get a little bit done, a little bit happens, trickle, the trickle down theory effect. It's a cytokine storm of negativity. And then what happens is you reverse it. You say, all right, I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet. I'm going to go, make more money or drop that weight or heal that thing or, have better relationships or whatever it is you want to do. And then you see some forward action, and that's encouraging, right? And so, but what happens then is there's like, wait a minute, I'm not doing enough. It's taking too long, or there's not enough, and all the enoughs come into play. And or you're okay with it, but someone in your field, in your auric field, is not okay with it. So that means you either minimize who you are to make them happy, or you maximize who you are and they go away. And there's always a negotiating thing that goes on inside. It's like, oh, if I do this, they're going to, say that. So you preempt the whole relationship, and it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a work relationship. You know what? While I'm on here, I'm going to do a little filtering because it looks so like, oh, I don't understand. The light is brighter. Watch me. Oh, purple. I'm wearing magenta. It's my favorite color. It is my auric color. Saturation. I'm going to be saturated with color today. How's that? Oh, I feel so much better. So when you're moving your vibe and you're taking it to a more positive place, the wave naturally creates more of that. And the moment the doubt kicks in, the doubt slows down the wave, and then you jump wave tracks and you move to I'm tired, I got to take a break, it's too much, they're overwhelming me, I can't. So you can't really change the outside world, except you can't change the people. You can change your energy. And when you change and move your energy to a more positive place, I call that creating your own reality. And that's something that everybody does, just because somebody and then people like validation. So you say, yeah, I tried calling that office. Did you have that experience? And they're like, yeah, they never call you back. And they're like, right. And then you feel validated. Like, yeah, it's not just me. It's other people. You see? So yeah, and then you take a stand. And so we, as human beings, look for all kinds of validation in what we're doing and what we're feeling. But it doesn't always reflect the true version of you. I've got here, I cut my bangs, but they're still in my face. It doesn't always reflect the true version of you. So now it's time to take a departure. So Gemini, and we come full circle to the Gemini eclipse. So Gemini is an energy that represents extremes, but also experience. So we can look at the extremes as being you're hot, you're cold. No, I'm not going to start singing Katy Perry because I don't remember all the lyrics, but I got it going in my head right now. Okay. So that's extreme. That's contradiction. It doesn't matter if you have Gemini in your chart or not. Everybody's got Gemini on the wheel. But you may not have any Gemini planets, sun, rising, or moon, or Mars, or whatever. And that's just a indication of, right? everybody's experiencing this eclipse. Now, what's happening internally is that you come to a place, it's like the crossroad. It's the T, and you go, I've been doing this for a long time. I don't want to do it anymore. Or you come to a place of, oh, I could go that way. Let me research that. Or I can go that way. That looks exciting too. So it could be two positive things that you're about to experience. And so you sometimes you might go to the right and go, oh, this is great. And then you go, wait, but let me try that. And then you start weaving between waves. And when you do that, if you're successful at it, come be in my chair and talk about it. Please show people how. And my experience has been that if I say to myself, oh yeah, I'm going to do that next, not right now, because I don't feel ready for it, that's when my contradictions will speed up or slow down. They will go to extremes. For example, if I say, oh yeah, I want to drop some weight. So I start an exercise plan and I start working out and I see results, and then I don't see results, and then I get frustrated, and then I just go the other way. And then I go, yeah, I'm going to get back to it. So the contradiction starts to weave itself back and forth. I can do it, I can't. It's enough, it's not enough. I have it, I don't have it, right? The extremes, the opposites. And that plays out in any area of life. So when you start looking at that and you say, well, what happened to all my friends? They disappeared. What? Wait a minute. Oh, I guess I need to be more a part of a relationship instead of apart from a relationship. You see? So whatever awareness comes to you now during this period, it's going to be, and sometimes it's going to be the thing that is most present. So getting back to the negatives. So when I say, if you say what you don't want, you're still, the universe sees it as a positive. It sees it as that's the focus, and the focus equals the positive. So that's what expands. So I don't want that, but it got bigger. How does that work? It's energy. It's just a reflection. Everything mirrors back to you energetically. Now, you go through a million thoughts in 5 minutes, bing, 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 bing. It's like a pinball machine. What is the universe going to give you? A lot of what looks like contradictory results. I have it, I don't have it. I had it for 5 minutes. Now where to go? Or they have it and they want to give it to me, but I don't know if I'm ready for it. Or I have it and I want to give it to them, but they're not calling me back. So you see what I'm talking about? The waves of contradictions create particles. Those are foci. It's your foci. So what I'd like to share with you is during this eclipse time, Gemini is, the back and the forth, but that's the physical thing. Now I want you to take it a little broader and go, one part of you is very spiritual. That's also the Gemini. And the other part is very physical or practical or grounded. And so that's the physical experience and reality. And if you are ready now, the portal is open. The door is open. So you can integrate the spiritual into the physical, or vice versa, the same. They go together. A vortex is not just a spiral in one direction. This is what I have seen. I've literally seen it meditating in West Sedona. So you'll see it's almost like a champagne glass where energy is going in and around one way and then coming up and around the other way. So the vortex represents that type of Gemini energy. So you can have both. And you set your timing by the conscious and unconscious thoughts that you're emitting. Make sense? Does this make sense? I want to make sure I'm helping. So I pulled some cards this morning when I always like hold up all my cards and go, oh, who wants to talk to me today? And so the fairies came out and they wanted to chat. And I said, well, just please, give us some intel on what you'd like to share. And they did. So first was the Lady of the Harvest. Now, here in northern world, there is, it's harvest time. So that's a beautiful card. This is Brian Froud and Jessica is it Macbeth? Jessica Macbeth wrote the copy, but Brian Froud did all the artwork, all the fairies. Look at that. It's just filled. It's just filled with so much to look at. That's the harvest. And there she is, the lady of the harvest. And it's all about accepting change. That's what, literally, grief, loss, harvest, release, completion. I mean, that's this. Okay. So just like gander, can you see that up close? I don't know if it's out of focus or not for you, but it is the next phase, and the past comes to the present so you can move toward the future. That's what this is about now. And, release is the liberation. Cry, feel, get angry, but you got to move that energy and let it go and then replace it, as I have said so many times before. You need to replace it with something positive, something proactive. So stuff is going to come up. If you can imagine that every experience that you have had splits into two things, minimum. And one of them is a conscious awareness of, oh, I just slipped and fell on the ice. Something like that. And then the unconscious part is, it is not safe to go outside when it's cold. Yeah, I have to be really wary of that because I could break a bone, or no one's here to pick me up, or it's going to hurt. So there's always the two parts, the conscious and the unconscious, and then it's split into many more parts. But just to keep it simplified, that's what happens. So now during eclipse season, during the lunar now, and then the solar on December 14th in Sagittarius at 23 degrees, it's going to be both. It's going to be open, emerge, recognize, what? Heal, release. And then you have completion. So this card, I'm so happy that this is the card that like glowed for in the deck for me to pick up. And because the process is about feeling the release. Just like, oh, wow. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, wow, that just happened. And that reminded me of when I was 3, when I was 17, when, this happened, that happened, whatever. But we don't want to go back there and stay there because you can't. It's over. It's ended. That's the completion. But we hang on to so much of this stuff. But that's why I love eclipses. Eclipse season is your ability to really navigate energetically through so much. Now you can look at something simple and say, well, I wanted to build a fence in my backyard, and the contractor, they took my money and I 50%, and I'm just making stuff up. But and so where your thoughts go from there is what happens next. It's not waiting for them. It's you deciding the outcome. But again, you cannot change a behavior of another person. So when you say, oh, they didn't call me back, or it didn't work, or it didn't happen, and now what happened, blah, 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 you're going down a place of what you don't want. And I've talked about this for over 25 years. The wanting creates more wanting. So we got to let go of the wanting and realize what is, and then jump tracks, wave-wise. And now, like Chicken Joe, send me on my way, send me on my way. You understand what I'm saying? The second card, we got to go to the wave that creates the future. Not that's the wave of the future. You're the wave of the future. So what is it going to look like? That's the question. That's what I love about eclipses. So in a practical term, you might say, so Vicky says, yes, this is making sense. Okay. So if you apply what you know, recognizing, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the eclipses and lunar eclipse in Gemini today, November 30th, 2020. We're going to have more eclipses in the Sagittarius Gemini axis. And that is, May and June of 2021. And then November of 2021, there is a Taurus eclipse. And then in December, another Sagittarius eclipse. So this whole season of a year plus couple of months is showing you your possibilities to do exactly what we just talked about. And if you're watching this in a replay and it's months from now, it's still in play. The degrees might change, but it's like the shroud of awakening. The ascension process means you start to wake up. That, if you're trying to lose weight and you go work out like a crazy person and you come home and you eat a bag of chips, that's the contradiction. It's not a judgment. It's just a reality that it's going to be harder or it's going to take longer for your results because you flip-flop. And so dedicated focus in as many moments as possible is what's called for. But as long as you're feeling the joy around it, if it becomes tedious, if it becomes a bear to burden, to gut-wrenching, I don't want this anymore, then you have to stop and back up and do something else. That's how it works. Let me just show you in the screenshot. So come say hello to me. We're talking about the lunar eclipse in Gemini, and then I'll talk about the second card that I pulled, which is so apropos. I love that. Okay, so you see we have Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn in Capricorn. That's going to change. It's moving to Jupiter and Saturn are going to be entering the sign of Aquarius in mid-December. So we're excited about that because it moves the energy of possibility. So instead of like, oh, this is such a burden, it's such a responsibility, it's this hard work, it moves to, hey, I just dreamed a solution. What the hell? I just sang a song and it changed my feelings. You see what I'm saying? Okay, wait, let me get okay. Moon in Gemini right now because we were having a lunar eclipse. I always have a full moon when there's a lunar eclipse. Uranus is in Taurus retrograde. Mars is in Aries and it is direct. And Neptune in Pisces. And then when we look up top, we see there's Venus in Scorpio. We have Mercury in Scorpio, Sun in Sagittarius. And, excuse me, the nodes, North Node in Gemini all year through next year, and then South Node in Sagittarius. So on top of the eclipses, on the axis of Gemini Sagittarius, there's also the nodes. And the nodes are calculations of the moon as the moon crosses the eclipse, crosses the elliptic plane that the Earth is doing around the sun. So it's like these 2 points that it makes. That's how you get they're adjuncts of the moon. So that's how you get that. And they represents the karmic action that we are taking collectively and individually. So wherever this winds up in your chart, you know what you're moving toward. North Node is always what you're moving toward. It's the next opportunity. It's the door. It's the next mastery level. It's the new. And then the South Node is what you've already mastered or what you've been victimized by or what you've been hiding from. And but living, I don't want to talk about, no, but let's not fight. We're not going to argue. We're not going to do anything that upsets the cart. We just want to, let's be all happy, but you're not really happy. Okay, so the victim shows up in the South Node or something you've already finished. It's like, yeah, I'm ready to move on. I'm done. Then you're complete. Hooray. And then we look toward the North Node. So they coincide with the eclipses. And as we go back and forth and we look at this energy cycle, hi, Pam, welcome. We're talking about lunar eclipse in Gemini. As we look at the energy cycle, what we're seeing is something really fabulous, and that is what Pook represents, the Pook. Don't you just love that, the Pook? Hang on. I put hand cream on and then things got slippery. That's not good. I kind of do that. The Pook is a shapeshifter. Let me just show you what the Pook looks like. That's the Pook. Shapeshifter. And the shapeshifter is what Gemini and Sagittarius really do represent. And it's like the paradox. It's like when you say one thing and do another, but yet you create a field of energy that can move you to the next place. So it's, we coincide with the last one was Lady of the Harvest, which is, it's time to accept that things are what they are and to make the commitment to move on. right? So we have to make the commitment to move on from something that has kept us, dampened our spirits, kept us down, kept us spiraling in the same thought that they're always that. This is not going to change. Nobody changes. Things don't get better. You just got to deal with it and move. Wow, that is so cynical. That's the low end Sagittarius vibe. That's the low end Gemini vibe. And so what happens is the Gemini Sagittarius energy, lunar eclipse today in Gemini, 8 degrees, on December 14th, 2020, solar eclipse in Sagittarius. The opposites bring up, they help you purge. And that's part of what this Pook is all about, what he's saying and what he represents. In the fairy world is the resolution of contradictions and paradoxes. I mean, the whole thought of, hey, I'm going to do a show today on contradictions while I was walking the dog. I did my meditations, I did my sauna, I'm writing some notes, and I thought, okay, let me just work with the fairies today. They wanted to come and play, and this is the card that falls out of the deck. So, it's like, and let's put this down and move it over. So having this burst of insight is like saying, if you can pull away, the higher vibe of Sagittarius and Gemini is adaptability, possibility, exploration, excitement about what could be instead of what has been and what you think is going to repeat itself. Because whatever you think is going to repeat itself, guess what? It's going to repeat itself until some part of your soul's evolution says no. And so that's when you have a car accident or a wonderful dream and you get inspired, or you get an illness, or your relationship needs to change, or you get to the point. In some circles, it's called Prigogne's theory. It's like you move forward, you move forward, you move forward, you move forward until the fear builds, and then you start to back off. You turn around and you do something else. You move forward, you move forward, you move forward until the fear starts to build, and then you back off. And then you go somewhere else. So eventually you're going in a circle because you're not facing the thing. And the thing is the power inside of you. You can't control anyone else. You can set the conditions for your life, and then people who resonate the same frequency of abundance will come into your world, and others will not. That's how that works. Make sense? So what do you want to let go of? What do you want to focus on? And sometimes you think, oh, I'm working on a new career, or, creating harmony in my familial relationships. That's what I'm working on. And then the eclipses come by and they do that. And you're like, oh, that. Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. I forgot about that. I mean, literally, I have had a sciatic nerve ending pain since pregnancy in my left thigh that's only about this long. And I'll only get it, or it'll go numb, or it'll start to hurt when I'm lying in a certain position. Now, I've been to polarity, Reiki, chiropractic, NSA, energy chiropractic, massage, Donna Eden. I've done so many things. And it got to the point where, I'm just going to close this out now. It got to the point where I was like, all right, I just have to move when I feel that. It's 22 years now I've had this thing. And so when the eclipses are coming, and I just do my meditations and say, I am so open. That's the high vibe of Sag and Gemini. I'm so open to what's next, to help me go to the next level of healing, of possibilities. Just show me. So a couple of things happen. This is the first year our kid will not come home for Christmas. Oh, sad as me. I get really, really sad about that. And then a good friend of mine who happens to be a doctor, a Sagittarius doctor, says, oh, I bump into her and I go, you look so blissed out. And she goes, oh, I just came back from an alpha biotic session. I'm like, a what? She's like, oh, it's great. You got to try. You're going to love Alice. So I went. First time on the table. and it's gone. The sciatica goes away and is not returned. Okay, this is the first time in 22 years. So when eclipse energy sheds light on something, it's not always what you have been consciously focused on, because that might show up in the next series of eclipses. May and June are coming sooner than we thought. Ho ho! Hey, Kate's here. Let's see. We've got Carlene. We've got, I don't know what sign some people are, but we've got Gemini. We've got Gemini rising. We have an Aries. We have a Virgo. What else do we have? Libra, I see. So this is a really great time to focus on the things that are in the undercurrent that you've not wanted to focus on, like, oh, I'm just going to push that aside and focus on something positive. Okay, great. Focus on something positive, but be open to what wants to release itself on the negative. Because again, the universe doesn't do positive, negative. It does expansion, contraction. Is that new for you? Let me say that again. The universe does not do positive, negative. It does expansion and contraction. So if you would like to contract those things that have been a pain in the butt for you, then stop focusing on them. But if they're coming up, then let them come up emotionally. That's what the lunar eclipse is brilliant at. And in a Gemini energy, it's not as intense as it might have been in a Scorpio or a Taurus or a Cancer or Virgo eclipse, because it's got a lighter vibe to it. It's got the judgment wants to come out, but that's the casing that hides the wound. Anger is always a cover-up for sadness or hurt. So, the judgment might want to come out. And they said that, and they didn't. We are looking for Blue's Clues. Is this making sense? Thank you. Oh, Sagittarius and a Capricorn. Well, hello. Thank you for being here. Pass this on to other people so that they may benefit. And if you're watching this in a replay, please like, subscribe, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're watching this live or on a replay on Facebook. Comment. The logarithms change for me. And then that's how it works. So it's like things get moved up and more accessible when the logarithms change. So are there any questions about that? Because if I can help you, now's the time. Now is always the time. I put my watch on this morning so I could show you. Oh, what is it? What time does it say? Well, it says almost 1/4 Aquarius. So let me know if there's something I can do to help. So the concept of the whole thing is during this eclipse phase between now, I've got 11:11. And so that means, angels abound. Angels abound. I'm going to change the battery I put in. Made it go faster. Okay. Right, so you can ask for assistance and support. You can thank the assistance and support from expected and unexpected sources. Show me what I need to know next. And in the meantime, constantly move your thoughts toward what gives you joy as you're working on something. If it starts to become drudgery, stop. Stop what you're doing, because then you're going against the tide. And that's not a wave. That's flailing. That's drowning in emotions or in resentment or in these, what we call the negative feelings that perpetuate the resistance. I've talked for years about resistance too. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. So I want to, if you're just joining us, I want you to think about this, ponder this in the Gemini lunar eclipse that we're in today, November 30th, 2020. And there will be many more next year in 2021. So this is not the end. This is just the beginning of the next phase of pondering the fact that you are pure conscious love. You dress it up, you argue with it, you deny it, you make love to it, you hate it, you starve it, you stuff it. You go to sleep with it, you wake up as it. Tag, you're it. Over and over and over again. And as an extension of the light, that's what we all are, extensions of the light, you have the ability to look at a thing in your life that you don't like, a person, a behavior of your own, a situation in the world, or your job status, your financial thing, the health, or whatever it is. You look at something and you go, yeah, I'm so tired of that. Okay, then do something different. I'd say, well, I've got to take care of my aging grandmother or uncle or something. Okay, then ask for help. And every time you approach the situation, if it's with, it's like, it's going to get worse for you and for them. If you can talk about it, yes, you want to express yourself to a friend, a loved one, someone who has a big heart, and say, I've been working really hard, and then I've got to take care of, this person. It's been a lot. Then you need to at some point stop talking about it and start feeling it and releasing it in this stage to get back on the wave of manifestation and procreation. So what do you want to create? Something that, so start with little statements of affirmation where I know this is temporary. I believe and trust that there is support for me and for them. I know that the universe supports me. I support me, and I need to take a break right now. So I support me. So you see, these little statements create bridges. Gemini is really great at, as we are in this eclipse, pointing out and looking at the extremes, right? But also where the bridges need to be created. My husband, who is a master marketing expert and copywriter, will say, can you just read this for me? It's for one of my clients. And I'll read it and I'll go, these 2 paragraphs suddenly, and he's brilliant at it. And he asks me to read because I look at the nuances, especially when he writes for women clients. And I'll look and I go, oh my gosh, you have their voice down. It's amazing. But if he's got, some sales letters are 22 pages long, right? So he's got a lot of work to do, a lot of clients, and I'll look and I go, right there, that paragraph, jump to that paragraph. I need a bridge. And so if you play music, if you are a musician or you know music, there's a bridge. If you're on one side of the mountain and you want to get to the other side, you got to create a bridge. If you have one thought and one experience that is opposite, you need to create a bridge. Like, I want it so bad, it's not happening. Okay, so then you got to stop wanting and start doing things that create a vibration, because you're a vibrational being first. Extension of the light is a vibration. You're a vibrational being first. So what happens is you create the vibration and then you can manifest the matter to go with it. But if it's never going to work. Come on. Look, they don't do that. They don't call back. They don't give you. It's like, how do you get through? There's no humans. It's always a thing. My mother used to yell at junk mail. She's gone 3 years and 2 weeks. And she's having a blast, let me tell you. She talks about the waves all the time to me. And she feels so free now. There's no fear. But she'll laugh when I talk about this because, I'd go and get her mail. She had 2 places, a P.O. box and the place up the driveway, which was a lengthy place, and then a little mailbox, and a lot of the junk mail went there. So and I'd sift through it for her, and she'd go, "What are they doing?" I'm like, "Mom, you're yelling at mail now. What's the frustration about? What's it really about?" So you want to look at that. If you're frustrated at something or someone and you turn around and you dump it on another thing or another person or yourself, because you swallow it, you take one for the team. No, that's an extreme. Create a bridge. And that bridge it's always going to be energetic. It's going to be sparkly and have, whatever you want. You can have music accompany your bridge. You can have little fairies and angels accompany your bridge. You can have like a dancing team of frogs accompany your bridge. Whatever it is that you create a bridge to what you need. And then, so you don't always have to go after it. That's what I tell all my Gemini rising, Gemini moon people. Stop doing all the work. Stop thinking you're the one who has to get it done. You're not. You're not alone here on this earth. So you ask for help. That's creating a bridge. Then it's about allowing the help to come, right? That's the next step. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. Can you give me a hand with this thing? Oh, yes, they've been waiting to give to you. And you're like, yeah, but not right now. I knew a Gemini rising once, a long time ago, who used to say to me, I have an issue with that over there. And I go, oh, yeah, I see. I see how that can be an issue. And then they would say, I would love your input. And I would say, sure, anytime. And they would go, but not right now. You can't always stay in control, except of your own feelings. That's what you have absolute control, absolute power. That's what you have absolute control over. So go there. And then watch how they magically change. Not because you change them, but because you change your resistance to their behavior or your complaint, or, you create a different bridge. It's like, I'm just going to be, this is what I have told my Sagittarius rising and moon people forever. Be the opportunity for someone instead of criticizing or judging. Okay? Be somebody's opportunity. Get over yourself and your expectation of them doing something for you or for the world or for the school or for the whatever, the party or the whatever. And you do it for you. And then do it for them without the crap attached to it. And watch what happens. I do it all the time. I talked about having an issue with neighbors and doing something, and we were like, for 3 minutes, I just like, and I can't believe, da, 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 to my husband. And then I went, all right, now I need to be the example. I need to be the adult in the room. So I, on purpose, stayed private away from the neighborhood for a week so I could get my own self together. And then I go out, and then there they are, and they're smiling and laughing, and we're feeling wonderful and generous and kind, and lesson learned on both parts, theirs and ours. So there doesn't have to be trauma, drama, melodrama. There doesn't. Vicky's a Capricorn. Oh, for some reason, are you a Libra rising? For some reason, I thought you were a Libra. Pam says, create a bridge. Love it. Yes, you can do it. Do it now. Be the example. Elizabeth, Elaine is so right on the bridge thing. I'm right on the bridge. Which way should I turn? I remember I went to Honduras with a friend of mine years ago. I think it was Honduras. And they had this jungle bridge. I mean, and it was, it was rope and like a plank that was this wide to get to the other side to see the waterfall. And my friend, a Gemini, just went plowing across the bridge. Like, la, 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 tiki, tiki, tiki. I was like, oh my God, don't look down, don't look up, just keep going. And like an old person, I made it, across the bridge. And I thought, I was sweating, not because it was Honduras and, the mosquitoes are this big. They will carry your children away. But because I had so much fear around what? I don't know. So I think about these things. So I got to the other side and I said to my friend, you did that so easily. How did you do that so easily? Now they are a double air sign with a fire sign. I'm a double earth sign. So I look at how rooted I need to be, how safe it needs to look, and then, but my fire sign is always like, oh, just do it. just go. Just go. So I never stop. I might go slower at times, but I never stop. And my friend said, I wasn't thinking about the bridge. I don't know what I was thinking about. I was so excited that we were together. We're going to go see macaw monkeys. And so they were focused on joyful at the time. I was focused on, is this thing safe? Am I going to fall? Is this like a Game of Thrones moment where I'm going to like plummet? And so I look at that because my physical self is less likely to engage in something extreme, like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute or, whatever. Rock climbing, I got that. Even if it's hard, I got it. So I look at what can I do to introduce something new into my life, one new thing a day, that I think I have a little flutter like, I don't know if I want to do that. Now, there's a difference between I don't care about it, don't want to do it, and I'm afraid to do it. Big difference, right? You understand that. If I don't care about it, I'm not going to do it. But if I think I might want to do it and I'm terrified, oh yeah, that's where I got to go. It's not easy being me. Okay, so I'm on the bridge, always on the bridge. I'm always on the bridge now, and I think about that moment now. If I were to cross it, it would be a different experience. Yeah. I'd still be swatting, life-size mosquitoes, but it would be different because I'm different. Ha! And so are you. Oh my gosh. Isn't it crazy? Okay. So, what else have we got going on here? I'm coming back, always. I'll be back on Thursday. We'll be talking more about, in the upcoming weeks, the solar eclipse in Sagittarius is already going to show itself. It's shown itself in the stage of the world. And that is a Gemini individual with a Sagittarius moon has to step down in America so that a Sagittarius rising individual can take over. And that's the stage of the world. No matter what your political beliefs, affiliations, doesn't matter. It's just fascinating, isn't it fascinating? So now, what are you going to do in the next 10 minutes? When we're done here and you've finished watching and you're like, oh, the phone rang, or I got this to do, or I have to get back to that, or, oh, Christmas is coming. They have sales today. I got to get on Amazon, or whatever you're doing, or I have to boycott Amazon because of whatever you're doing. I want you to think about the very next angsty, judgy feeling that comes up. And I want you to think of me, have my voice in your head. We are all pure conscious love. We are all extensions of the light. And we exist here, now, everywhere. What are you going to do at that moment? You can be on that bridge. Feel what you're feeling. If it's negative, give it a time limit. Then focus on the neutral zone in the middle of the bridge, and then bringing matter to you by changing your thoughts. You're an energetic being. You're a sentient being. You feel. You intuit. You're so powerful. Click those heels, Dorothy. You got this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being. We are going to talk more about this and these kinds of things on Thursday, which will be December 3rd already. I'm so excited. Let me just roll the dice for everybody. Just checking in for comments. All right, this is my soul color. This is who I am when my aura shines. Wait a minute. This is a while ago when I worked at Whole Life Expo. If you've not seen this photograph of me before, it's actually a blown up picture. That's me, right? And you can see the stripes that come down. You see those stripes? That's starseed. There are faces above. Actually, there's a bunch of faces up here in the Polaroid. I can't find the Polaroid. I had made a copy of it and then expanded it like this so people could see. This is my aura when I'm working. So you see the balance with the light, and then you see starseed talking down through me, bringing those beams of light. And that's how I channel when I'm doing readings as well. Oh, and I will be putting out on, not passing along, but I'll pass it along. I'm still open for several more Eclipse, Karma, and You readings. I will put that link in the on my Facebook page and right here. But let me just, and they've been great so far. People are loving them. Okay, so lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse. Okay, so this is the conversation, Gemini, guided by Mercury, so is Virgo. That's the conversation. That's what we're looking at, the conversation. Mercury represents your thoughts and communication before you even open your mouth. It's what you believe. It's what you perpetuate energetically. It's the resonation. Is that a word? Not resignation, but the resonance of what you output. That's the conversation that's always going on in your head. This is how it feels. Aries, exciting, possible, proactive, impatient, frustrated, solution-oriented, champion of others. And this is where it takes place, in your 10th house, life direction. Also dealing with career or masculine parent, but it's your life direction. So what's your direction now? Looks like the conversation is going to change, and it needs to. If you want something to look different in your world, in your body, in your life, in your community, on this planet, the conversation has to change. Elizabeth, you are amazing. Sending you mountains of gratitude. Hey, and I just got them. Look, I have so many mountains nearby. And I'm full of gratitude. Thank you for that. All right, blessings. Be sparkly, be present. As always, I wish you peace, and I will see you on Thursday. Come back.